Hello and welcome back, everyone. We're of course back, and as you can see, we're back on Skyblock. As I said in a community post, it's been a long time coming, but we're finally back here, and today is going to be a guide, just like all my other videos on here, just like I said in the community post as well. And today's guide is going to be regarding how to actually get started, or how I suggest getting started in the current Skyblock, metas and such. Because, of course, things change over time. Updates happen, prices change, all that. So, this is kind of the stuff you're going to want to do to level up early, like super early in the game, and some of the stuff you might want to buy just to kind of help yourself along. Anyway, let's get started getting started. Okay, so the absolute first step, I'm going on to a brand new profile. My other profile is very new, but this is a absolute as new as could be. I just made it, just to demonstrate as easily and well as possible. So the first thing you're going to want to do is of course break a log, and you're going to want to go over to the portal like you would anyway. So I'll meet you once I get there. Okay, and we have made it across. Now, you should be able to do that extremely quick, maybe about a minute, or however long it takes you. This part is not a big rush. This is not like you're speedrunning Skyblock or anything. This is just, the absolute first step. Then you can, talk to Jerry or whatever, or see your minion, whatever you gotta do. This is where things get important, though. Now, there are a bunch of things that you're gonna want to be doing as soon as you get into the hub. I'm going to explain this in a way that, anyone will be able to understand. So, if you're absolutely just starting, never even seen anything about Skyblock before, this should still be able to apply to you, so keep that in mind. So that means I'm gonna go over basically anything that, anyone who plays Skyblock should know or already do. So, of course, you're gonna want to talk to villagers, because as you can see over here, that is actually a quick little quest. This dude will give you the leaflet, or tell you to get the leaflet armor, but you don't really need that because you're gonna be able to get a better armor very soon. So, you're gonna go around talking to the villagers, because doing this will actually help you to level up, which is a very, very important thing in the early game. So, if you'll go into your Skyblock menu here, and then you can go to Skyblock leveling. This is a relatively new feature, just a couple updates old, and this is actually why my older guides might not apply anymore, because they were before this was added. But when you go into this, you will see that, there's this long chain of Skyblock levels that you can level up into, and you may be wondering, how do I get XP? How do I level up? How do I get all this extra health? All this? We're gonna get there. But there are a couple of very important things you want to look at first. Now, in the first couple of levels, this is where things are really important. You get access to the community shop at level 3, you can have access to the garden and to wardrobe at level 5, auto pickup at level 6, and the Bazaar at level 7. That is the big one. So, I'm not going to be showing, speedrun type, how to level up as quick as physically possible, best methods type of thing right now. I'm going to just be showing how to get started, as I said, so it's going to kind of include this as well, but not focus on it, if that makes sense. Anyway, so the first things you're going to want to do is, well, you're going to want to go and run over here. You're going to be kind of slow at this point in the game, but that's a minor detail. Continue talking to villagers as you go along, because that is actually one of the things that you have to do, as I said, and once you completely finish that, it should give some extra XP, and in the beginning you're going to be looking for any XP that you can get. So, the absolute first thing you're going to want to do, other than, talking to villagers and getting here, is you're going to want to go and just go ham on the wheat fields. Just go until you feel like you don't care about going anymore, because every level you get is going to be 5 Skyblock XP, and easily within just a little bit of farming here, once you get a hoe and all that too, I generally can get up to level 10 or higher extremely easy with just this method. So, think that's going to be an extra 50 XP that you can get. Each time you level up a collection, that should be even more Skyblock XP, so this should help you to level up a bunch faster, and the big reason why we're actually doing this is not even for the XP, it's for the wheat and the seeds, because now that we have a bit of the wheat and seeds, now we want to run back over here. Anywhere should do, but the closest one that you can sell all this to, I believe, is the farm merchant, which is also where we have to go for the hoe, so it works out perfectly. And you're going to want to go, talk to her, sell her the seeds and whatever else you may need to sell, and then you will have enough to buy a rookie hoe. Now, I of course overdid it by a little bit, but you can never have too much money, so then you're going to want to just go back and just continue going ham. As I said, I suggest going to at least level 10 or 12 with farming, just because you can level it up so easily here. Because each of these is for farming XP, and there is just so much, and they regenerate on their own and all that. You can collect from this minion every now and then and all that. So, just go at that until you're just to your heart's desire, pretty much. Another very important thing about the farming skill as well is you get 2 hearts with, or 2 extra health, not necessarily hearts, with every level that you get. So once you're at level 5, that'll be 10 extra health, and so on and so forth, so this will help you to become stronger in that way as well. Now, you're going to want to continue talking to everyone, because XP is XP, and even if it's kind of annoying and pointless, if you're brand new to the game, they will tell you very important things, or if you're a bit later, then once again, you get XP at the end of it, so it's worth it to do. Anyway, the next thing you're going to want to do is just get some basic kind of necessities. You're going to want to get an undead sword, in case you have to fight any of the zombies over there for the combat XP and all that. You're going to want to get once this dude is ready to talk, a promising pickaxe. I did not mean to buy 2. And while you're here, you're going to want to buy 2 gold ingots. Now, this is a very important aspect, almost more important than the pickaxe itself. And then once you have the 2 gold ingots, you're going to want to go in here, you're going to want to make some stakes, and you're going to want to make a golden shovel. Now, you may be thinking, that is an extremely random thing to make. Why would I make a golden shovel? Well, you want to go over here, you want to go to the librarian here, and once this individual is done talking, you want to buy, I'd say maybe 10 to 15 experience bottles, however many you may need to get to level 15. Obviously 10 was not enough. Better to buy too few and buy a couple more than to waste more money than you have to. So it looks like a sweet spot is about 40 of them, but, you know, maybe 35 or so would do. Anyway, you're going to want to go and get efficiency 2. That's why we need 15 XP levels. And this is going to level up your enchanting a bit, which is also good, of course, gives you more XP. And this opens the door to one of the easiest leveling methods in the entire game. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is either you can make a golden axe with efficiency, but that'll be a bit more expensive, or the cheaper alternative is to buy the promising axe. Now, for the same reason as the promising pickaxe, this will gain efficiency as you break more and more blocks, up until I believe about efficiency 2, so it will go relatively fast for very little effort and cost. Now, after that, you're going to want to go over here. This is an incredibly important step, so do not forget this one. You're going to want to go to Jamie over here, top tier individual, and you're going to get the rogue sword. This is something you're going to want on you at all times throughout all of your playthrough of this game, no matter what. This will double your speed in the beginning because it gives 100 speed, and you of course start with 100 speed. So it'll double your speed, and it will only cost 50 mana, and you of course have at least 200 by this point. So you're going to be solid in that matter, and it's going to help with so many other things that you're going to be doing in this point in the game. And really just any point in the game. Now, you're going to want to talk to Lumberjack because, once again, extra XP is always good. Now, you want to do whatever he says, in which case, you know, collect 10 logs, easy enough. Now, once you have the 10 logs, or even more if you so choose, you can talk to him, and you can give him those logs, and he will give you a sweet axe. Personally, I don't really suggest using this, but it will just be another thing basically to do, and it might help you along your process, or progress, or it might not. Really, that aspect is up to you, but talking to him is the bare minimum because, as I said, you get VXP, and you can also start foraging and get some XP through that. Now, the next step is we're going to go back over to the main hub area. Once again, talk to anyone that has the green sparkles above them, and then just run around spawn now that you have the rogue sword, talk to all of these villagers, and you will be solid. You'll be good. Also, this is another very important aspect. If you have a rank on on Hypixel, I actually have a VIP rank. You can go in and get VIP rewards bundle, or VIP plus, or MVP, or whatever, and then you can sell the items that you get from here in the auction house. I will just kind of show the process here. You can go in here, and then you can go and search up, let's say, egg pile, I believe that was one of them, and then you want to go to lowest bid, only 10 coins, but I suggest going to bin, because that's buy it now, and it's a bit easier. And I suggest checking what the lowest bin is, so right now 29,000, that is solid money when you first start, and then you can just sell that for, I'd suggest, maybe 28.99, you know, just 1 coin less, and it'll sell within a pretty short amount of time generally, and you'll have some pretty alright money to start with. Now, since I was talking about the selling and making money in the auction house and all that, we're going to actually sell a bit more wheat and seeds so I can showcase the next thing, which is another very important one, which is, of course, using the auction house to buy armor, because any of the armor that you can make, except for a select few, are gonna be trash, in all honesty. You know, once you unlock a couple collections, you know, wheat is gonna give you the farm suit. It's okay, but it isn't good. It'll give you a bit more speed, you know, it's not horrible, but my suggestion in the early game, once you have the money, of course, is to either buy lapis. I spelt that wrong at first. Generally, it isn't even on here, and you need a mining skill, but we're going to go over that in a moment. But if you can find it on here, this is a very solid armor set, because it will make you get more XP, and XP is extremely helpful, and it'll give you more health, which I don't even have to explain why that's helpful. It's more health. But for some reason, this is incredibly rare on the auction house lately, so it might be hard to find, in which case I suggest looking for a set called Miner set, or Miner leggings and armor and all that. Now, this is not particularly great. As you can tell by the defense, it actually is worse than that farm suit I showed, but it will increase the defense by a ton whenever you're in a mine, which you will be a good amount of the time, and once you go to the deep caverns and all that, there will be mobs there too, so that extra defense will be tremendous once you go there. And also, this is only really a starter set. You're going to get a better set very soon. That is optional though. I had forgotten how good the farm suit is, so if you would prefer to stay with the farm suit and go with the cheaper option, the farm suit will definitely not do you bad. It just won't be as good in the caves or mines. Anyway, the very next thing you're going to want to do is run all the way over here. You can continue farming the wheat, but that is up to you. And you're going to want to go to the farming islands. This is a very important area. Now, the reason why this is so important is because, let's just skip past all of this, you know, not too important to us right now. We can kill some cows and some chickens and such here, and it will unlock a ton of collections and be very helpful in that way, but it's not really required yet, unless if you're focusing on leveling up, because you want the Bazaar and all that, because it is actually one of the early quests to unlock the collections that you can get here, such as the leather and the, where is it? The raw chicken. Anyway, that is only really if you're trying to focus on leveling up, which I do of course suggest doing, but this is just kind of the stuff you can do to level up a bit faster, and some of the gear you want to get in the very beginning. Now you're going to want to jump over to the desert settlement over here, and as soon as you do this, you're going to want your golden shovel and your rogue sword, and you're going to just go absolute ham on the sand, because this is going to be the best early game mining XP that you can possibly get. I suggest doing this up until you get to even level 14 in mining, just because of how good this method is, and at least you want to go to level 10, because it really won't take long. As you can see, I'm already at mining 5, and I've only been doing that while I've been talking. And this will also be another way for you to make some extra money, which, once again, you can never have too much money. Extra money is absolutely never a bad thing, because it means extra armor, or better weapons, or whatever else. Which, you know, once again, I don't really have to explain why armor and weapons are a good thing in a game where you have to fight things. So, you're going to want to do this, I suggest until mining 14, but it's of course up to you. But, you know, at least mining 5 for the deep caverns, but yeah. Anyway, speaking of the deep caverns, now we're going to want to go back to the hub, and once we're here, we're going to want to zoom over here, and just go straight back here, through this area, and this will take you to the coal mine. You can also go through that area, but that's just closer since we were there anyway. Now, since we did all that sand mining, we don't have to mine any of what's here, except we should. Now, I had kind of forgotten to mention this, but there are a couple NPCs that you're going to need to do little tasks for, like with the lumberjack needing you to chop some wood. The blacksmith, which is incredibly helpful in the beginning and mid-game, is going to need you to mine some coal. Now, once you mine the coal, you will be able to talk to him, and you will be able to give him coins to basically put what's called a reforge on your tools, weapons, armor, and plenty of other things. And the reforge will either give you more damage, or more defense, or tons of other things, but that I will leave for you to figure out, just so this video does not last too long. Now your next step is going to be the gold mine. This is, of course, a gold mine in the early game, and it's going to be very helpful for you, for a bunch of different reasons. First off, you're going to want to talk to Rusty. Rusty is the janitor, obviously, but once you can talk to him, you can basically buy back a bunch of different items that are very unique from him if you ever lose them or drop them or anything like that. Now, you of course want to talk to the lazy miner. He'll tell you that he lost his pickaxe, and then you can go down, follow my, I'm completely blanking on the word. You know the saying though, just follow where I'm going, and you will of course stumble upon the lazy miner's pickaxe right here. This pickaxe has a special enchant called Smelting Touch. Now, I do not believe you can get this in the enchanting table at spawn, because it does not have a high enough enchanting power, but obviously when you mine something with this, it will smelt it. So, that's going to help you a ton when you're in these areas, because you, of course, don't want to be mining and getting normal ores, because that takes away a bunch of time and effort. Now, the next step is you're going to want to, of course, go back up as soon as possible, and once you get back up, whether you have to parkour up, or if you teleport up, or whatever you do, you're going to want to go through here, and it will lead you to the deep caverns. Now, this is why we went to at least mining 5, because once you go here, you are of course at one of the places you'll be mining at for a very long time until you get to the dwarven mines, which I will explain in a different video. Now, I'm not going to fully explain the deep caverns right now because they are kind of deep, obviously, and it does take a bit of time to go through them, but you can mine through here, and as you go along, you will find areas where it goes deeper into different kinds of ores and different kinds of creatures. Now, you can talk to the lift operator, and you will see, once he's done talking, that you can, of course... Oh, I guess you have to travel down to the Lapis Quarry, so I'll show that at least. It should be right over here. As I said, there will be plenty of areas where it just goes deeper randomly, so you can go down here, and then you can continue along until you see the lift operator again, right here. And you can see there are plenty of other areas, and each time you unlock one, you will be able to instantly travel there instead of looking for the ramp slash cave-in slash stairs up and down. Now, you can of course kill these zombies, and they are of course going to help your bestiary, which I have another guide about, and so I highly suggest doing that. But more than that, they will have a chance, a very small chance of course, of dropping that lapis armor. Now, this is going to be kind of tedious since you're doing so little damage, but this is why we got the undead sword, because it will do double damage to any undead creatures. And at this point in the game, you're never going to be fighting anything that isn't undead, except for as you go deeper into the deep caverns, or whatever this place is called. I forget the exact name at this second. There will be slimes and a couple other creatures, but generally, most, if not all, that you're going to be fighting is going to just be undead. Now, once you go through and do all of the things that you can to level up, you will of course start unlocking other things, as I've said. Once you unlock the community shop, you can get a free booster cookie. I don't suggest using it or selling it yet, but as you go through just a little bit later in the game and understand things a bit more, you'll be able to use that to its fullest extent. Or you can sell it for, I believe, about 5 million currently, which would make you a ton of coins and help a ton. Now, level 5, that's not going to be too big of a deal. I don't know too much about the Garden update yet, so I will be doing a guide on that as soon as I can, but the big one, as I said, is level 6, where you auto pick up, and level 7, where you get access to this thing right here. Now, it is a bit of a process to level up to this point, and I'm not going to be doing it this time. I will be doing a video about how to level up as fast as possible to focus on the Bazaar soon, but this time is just about how to, prep, as I said, and how to start. But I will say, for once you do unlock the Bazaar through natural means, as I said, you can look through all of these and go around leveling up. I will show how to do this, because this is kind of easy, but you're going to want to just do these as much as possible, and then once you level up to level 7, you'll unlock the Bazaar, and you can look through to my money-making guide, and that shows how to do Bazaar flipping and a couple other tricks related to the Bazaar, but I will be doing an updated guide on that soon once I can. Anyway, the final, next thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put away as many of your coins as you so choose. Generally, by this point, you should have between 5 to 20k, depending on how much farming and how much sand mining you did. Maybe even upwards of 50k if you really went all out. And you, of course, don't want to lose that, so you want to go to the banker, and you want to deposit as many as you so choose, but then withdraw just a couple for the next stage. Now, I did make some farm armor for this, because you need armor for this step, but I don't think you need really anything else in terms of enchanting or anything, since this is a very simple step of the process. But you're going to want to go down here into this building. You're going to want to talk to Maddox the Slayer. He's going to ask if you thirst for adventure, because, I'm extremely thirsty for adventure. And you're going to want 2,000 coins. I, of course, slightly messed up there. Now, once you actually have 2,000 coins, you're going to want to go and you're going to want to start the Revenant Horror 1 mission. Now, this is going to be extremely easy, but you still want to have some caution, because it is still a boss and you're still just starting. But with Undead Sword and some armor, you will have hopefully no problem as long as you know what to expect. So, you want to go around killing the zombies. Your Undead Sword will be able to one-shot them when you get a critical, as you can see, and two-shot when you hit normally, But if you even put Smite or Sharpness on this, you'll be one-shotting them with no problem at all. So, if you so choose to do that, I entirely suggest it. Now, while you are looking around the graveyard trying to find the zombies to kill for the combat XP to spawn in the Revenant, you're going to come across this area most likely. My only suggestion for this at this point in the game is don't go down there because you will die. The creatures down there have 2,000 health and hit relatively hard, but you will be able to go down there soon, just not quite yet. And with these final couple of zombies, we will be able to spawn in the boss. And you'll see it does not hit hard as long as you have armor on, and it only has 500 health, so you will have, once again, no issue even without any enchantments. And it'll give an okay amount of combat XP, and it will help you level up your bestiary for zombie. And even more, there's a lot of ands when it comes to this thing. You will be able to go and get some easy extra XP from this individual down here, if I remember right. You just have to go talk to him, and then go here, and you just want to make sure that you click to claim the rewards, because otherwise you will not actually get this 15 XP that it talks about and all that. And if you continue killing these, which I don't really suggest doing in all honesty, I suggest waiting until you can kill the Revenant Horror 2s, and then using a better weapon like the Endstone Sword, if you can buy it from the auction house once you have about 100k. I suggest using that to kill a Revenant Horror 2, and then you will be able to craft this thing, which is going to be able to heal you for basically your entire health without any issue in the early game. As the game goes on, it'll be worse and worse, but, you know, in the early game, that'll be a game break, or a game changer, so you're going to want to get that as fast as you can. Now, once again, I do suggest checking out my video about how to make money in the early game. I will actually put a card thing up in the top corner, but if you can do that and make it to about 90 to 100k, as I said, this is not a very, very early game. This is just very early game. So, you know, the next step, I suggest looking for something called an Endstone Sword, as I said. Now, usually, I would suggest looking for a good ol' Aspect of the End or Silver Fang, but for some reason Silver Fangs are almost non-existent at this point, and Endstone Swords for some reason are extremely expensive too. Usually you can find these for about 90k to maybe 120k, but right now they're super expensive for some reason, I don't know why. But if you see them at this price, I'd say either wait till they lower or buy a Aspect of the End instead, because a Aspect of the End will be about 250 to 300 something k, so it's more expensive, but it is better, and it has the ability to help you to teleport, which is very helpful, and is, of course, you know, a good thing to be able to do. So, those are your two main choices for your, maybe I'd say, second or third weapon, depending on what you do. Just don't go looking at the bottom for things here, unless if you see a jungle axe. A jungle axe is going to help you extremely, like a ton in the beginning. I'm actually going to buy that just to demonstrate what it does. I need to go grab my money. Now, as we know, there's plenty of axes. You want to be chopping down trees and all that, because your foraging skill, which is what you get when you chop down trees, okay, it no longer exists. That's why you're almost never going to see them on the Buy It Now, because people buy them extremely quickly. Let's see. And yeah, there's none on the Buy It Now, but a bunch on the auction area. So if you can find one of these for cheap and just snipe the auction, I absolutely suggest it, because these are basically able to chop down half to a full tree in just one block breaking, so it will help you a ton in that. Now, another thing you want to buy in the very early game is called a grappling hook, and these two will almost never be on Buy It Now, but if you can find a cheap one on the auction, I absolutely suggest it, because I'm going to go to my other profile to demonstrate this. So essentially what a grappling hook does is, it doesn't function like a grappling hook would in your mind, if that makes sense. You know, you don't throw it up at a ledge and then instantly make your way up. You just kind of lunge your... It's basically just a extremely strong fishing rod, because that's of course what it is. So if you throw it over there, then that's what it'll do. So, in the early game, before you can afford an aspect of the end, and you're still relying on just your rogue sword to get around, you're going to want one of these to help you get around even faster. And that's without a speed pet, like the bee, which is another thing you want to focus on in the beginning, because if you go over here to Bia, you can of course get a bee. Now, a bee will give you extra speed, extra strength, and extra intelligence, as well as plenty of other things if you get the higher tier bees. But this is not a pet guide, this is just, you know, that's one thing you should focus on in the beginning, because it's also another thing in the quests over here. The pets. You get the bee pet. For some reason, I have not got this. I don't know why, because I had a bee pet. But you're going to want to get that as fast as possible, and then once you continue making money through mining, you know, killing zombies, farming, all that, you're going to, of course, make some money, and I highly suggest working towards getting either a glaciite set of armor, which is right here. Now, you can make this into a very rudimentary mage set of sorts, and that will help you with your aspect of the end, with your endstone sword here, with the ability, because it uses up your mana, with your rogue sword, anything else that needs mana. And generally you can find each piece for about 50k. Let me see just to confirm here. Yeah, 30 to 50k, upwards of maybe 70k. So anywhere from 30 to 70k, you'll be able to get yourself a glaciite set, and it's going to basically help you along through even into the mid game. And that's just how good it is. Anyway, that's all for today. Make sure to subscribe if you liked the content, and if it helped you. At 500 subscribers, I will be doing another giveaway on here, and by then it will probably be anywhere from 10 to 25 million, depending on plenty of factors. I'm just saying that's a roundabout guess as of now. And, you know, you gotta be subscribed to win, so definitely subscribe. And definitely hit the notification bell if you know, want to be notified of any more guides on here that might be able to help you out, or any other random various gaming content if you like the content as a whole. Definitely leave a like and a comment if this video has helped you out in any way, and definitely leave a comment saying any other guide ideas that you have, like, say, you know, a guide about how to do the garden update, or how to one-shot zealot bruisers once you're a bit farther along, stuff like that. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Till next time, everyone, and goodbye.